She led the way from the hospital at a surprising pace, down the hill, past the supermarket, up Goat Street, along Rampart Street, Golden Gate Lane, and finally to Blackdog Street. Though she'd swapped her Wellingtons for a pair of trainers, the rest of her, apart from the absence of a pinafore, was as I remembered. A green headscarf that didn't quite match a woolly yellow cardigan, and a voluminous brown and cream check skirt. The sun shone on my arrival at Hobbes's. "Here we are." Unlocking the door to number 13, she stepped inside. Taking a deep breath, I followed as she led me upstairs, opening the door into the end room. I was pleasantly surprised, if puzzled. It was a good size, with bare white walls, low black beams, a polished wood floor, a dressing table with a stool and a small wardrobe. What it lacked was a bed. "The old fella," she said, "asked me to make up a bed for you. I haven't had time yet, but all the bits are in the attic." I offered to go and fetch them down, but she said some of the flooring was a bit ropey and might be dangerous. "I'll do it, dear, and it won't take 5 minutes." She was right. It took the best part of an hour, for, having hauled herself up the fold-away ladder into the attic, she discovered an extended family of mice had taken up residence, and took the pursuit up with gusto and a wooden tennis racket. I could hear her feet thumping above, interspersed with occasional thwacks as she found a target. At any minute I expected to see her plunge through the ceiling. Eventually everything went quiet. Too quiet. I waited a couple of minutes. Mrs. Goodfellow, you all right?" Not a sound. Hesitating for a few more seconds, I started up the ladder. The faint light in the attic was squeezing through the bars of a tiny window, dust dancing in its beam, and I glimpsed wonderful things in the instant my head poked through the hatch. Hearing a thwack and a mad cackle, I lost my grip, stretching my length on the landing rug. A wizened face poked through the hatch upside down. "Got the little devil? You all right, dear?" I nodded, standing up, feeling a little groggy. "Can you catch with that bandage on?" Yeah, well, probably." "Good," she said. "Catch these." She patted a small brown object with a racket. It twisted through the air, and despite fumbling, I grabbed it before it hit the floor. It was a limp mouse. "Next one." She patted another. In the end, I had 8 little bodies in my hands. I stared at them aghast, not knowing what to do as she slid down the ladder. "Better hurry," she said. "Let's get them to the park before they wake up." They were already stirring when we got there, one taking a speculative nibble at my finger. I released them, and they disappeared into a hedge and began a frantic rustling. I sucked away a bead of blood as Mrs. Goodfellow took my arm. "Come along, dear, it's time I had you in bed." A smart young woman wheeling a child in a pushchair gave me a most peculiar look. Though I tried a tentative smile, she turned away as Mrs. Goodfellow propelled me back to Blackdog Street.